Hello again, and welcome back to Pilot Pass. My name is Matthew Pizana. I am co-host of this wonderful, magical, and your favorite podcast. Alongside me today is my co-host, as always, Del. Don't call me Banana Cakes Pullen.
Was that your? Yeah. All right. Let's go with that one.
Okay.
Genius. Great. How long did you work on that one?
At least 33 seconds.
God, you suck at this.
There's a third voice. Partner. I know, right? There's a third voice on the show today. You will hear her laughter as we talk and amuse her greatly. She is a comedian extraordinaire. She is your friend. She is my friend. She is Saffron
Herndon.
Yay! Welcome to the
that's
show,
me.
Saffy.
Don't announce yourself. It's classless. Don't do that again.
You call me poor?
But clap for yourself.
No, I'm saying no. The poor would be that would be a class level. Classless would be not having any kind of classification money wise.
Classless is what communism is.
Right, there you go.
Ooh.
Oh, so you're saying
we've got political already. All right. Antifa and all that. Let's
so today we're doing communism.
And today we're doing the first episode of Ayn Rand's book.
Let's not do that. Instead, what we shall do is the classic TV show Scrubs.
Yay! I love Scrubs so much. I think it is so good, and I think that people give it such a bad rep, but it's so good. Did you guys actually know that Zach Braff is actually a homosexual?
I don't. Is there?
I've been telling people that for years. I never knew if it was true or not. Never really.
Oh, me neither. I was just saying that. I want to start that rumor.
Okay. After I saw him try to beat up that kid on Punk that one time, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's what the homosexuals are known for. Beating up children.
That's when I started liking him even more. It's like whip that kid's ass.
I miss Punk sometimes when it was real. When JT is crying because they're repoing his house. Oh. Classic.
Is that the one with Ashton Kutcher?
That is the one, indeed. The old people show, as Saffy might know it by.
Nice.
What are you going to do? Del, will you tell us a little bit about this show called Scrubs?
Yes. According to what you wrote for me, a new group of medical students arrives to learn the ropes at Sacred Heart Hospital, where JD, Turk, Kelso, and this can't be right. It says Arabic, but I'm assuming you meant Serbic. Dr. Cox are their instructors. JD continues to romance Elliot as he imparts wisdom to a new class, which includes Lucy, Drew, Cole, and Maya. My first day is the first episode, so yay! And
they named
show
it
not called
time.
Pilot. A show has a pilot that doesn't have enough. Can't talk. Cut that. Or leave it in. Why do I care? Quality is not my important thing. As JD is thrown into the chaotic world of hospital life, we not only get to see the quirky characters, the encounters, but also hear numerous commentaries and thoughts streaming throughout JD's head. Now, one of the important things about Scrubs is it's been called numerous times one of the most accurate shows portraying not only a medical field, but any kind of show in general, because the main guy decided to write it about his best friend, who is a doctor, and who would hear all these stories about what it was like for his first, year working at and attending at a hospital. And he thought, this is just such a great idea for a show. So a lot of things shown, especially in the pilot, were things that happened to his friend.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a nightmare. I can't imagine being in the emergency room, people waiting for me to care for them. That sounds terrible and terrifying to me. Saffy, could you be an ER doctor?
I think it would be fun. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think it'd be fun to do surgery, but I don't think it would be fun to have to touch the old people and do their catheters and stuff. I draw the line there.
But
I think it would be fun.
I think I could do a doctor, like a diagnostician, but fuck being like a nurse. There's no way, because I'd be like, somebody push that stupid button and come in. They'd be like, that dude has cancer right next to you. Shut up. I don't want to hear your stupid complaining. I'm done with this. I've got a mortgage I'm worried about. That's the only reason I'm here.
Do you know what we could do?
There's no way I could care that much.
What's that? What can we do?
Become ER doctors, right? I saw this story.
Yeah, let's just go out and do this. Okay, let's hurry up and go out and do this.
You have 10 years left. You can do it, right? Just hold on for 10 more years, and then we take the morphine and we distribute it amongst communities for money.
We're morphine
Oh,
Robin
say-
Hoods.
Yeah, just
Be Ronald
say
Reagan,
the
but with
money
morphine.
part. Yeah, say the for money part, because otherwise it just sounds like we're being nice and generous, and I'm in this to make a profit.
We distribute medicines, morphine, to people who want to take it because they hurt. Wink. Oh, people that listen to the podcast with noise. I winked just now.
There
Yeah.
you go. And me, I'm going to be the maintenance guy because I want no part of the doctor's stuff. So I'm over
You're the
here
janitor.
fixing the stuff. I am the janitor. That's all I'll ever be. And I'm okay with that.
You know what? I'm okay with. I'd be the guy that holds up the microphone, the boom just out of shot. That's who I'd like to be at the hospital.
I've seen those arms. I don't know how long they're holding up a boom.
Well, that's how they decide who gets that job. Is they have people hold up their arms, and whichever one has the
For
longest
A
arms,
really long
they're like,
time.
you're a boom operator. Yeah, born to be a boom operator.
If people know us at all, they're going to know how we're going to feel about this show. So I'm going to go ahead and dispense with all the hullabaloo of secrecy and whatnot. And let's just go ahead and start at the top. Safi, tell me what one of your favorite moments of this pilot episode was.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, this is good. I love when they walk in the halls. They have good conversations then. I like the introduction of all the characters. I like how Turk and Carla aren't together yet, which is a fun little spin on that.
Right.
It's just good.
Well, they get together pretty fast.
Yeah, they get together like the second episode, but it's like it's a really good. I think that I
No, they
usually
have sex.
don't.
They have sex in the pilot
No, they don't.
in the storage room.
No, they don't.
Sex.
She makes me get naked and then she says nice and then she leaves.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Women with their power plays.
I think it's a very good. Ew. I think it's a very good introduction to Scrubs. I usually do not like pilots of shows. Like The Office pilot, that's uncomfortable. But this is so good. Like
Yes.
Scrubs is just so good.
I remember when I originally watched it, it had already been on the air for a few years. So it was in its third season. I remember watching the pilot and I was like, man, that was really good. Like excited to watch the rest of the season. Like
Yeah.
I was super excited. And it's weird that you said, people give it crap. I don't know anybody that doesn't like the show, honestly.
Really?
Like everyone, like people have episodes or two they may not like the musical episode or something like that. But I can't think of a single person I know that doesn't like the show.
Well, when I think, I guess, I don't know. Because when I think about it, I just assumed, I don't know if I just assumed. I think I just heard that people don't like it. I don't know. Because I think when you see a medical show, you think like, oh, it's another one. Here's another Grey's Anatomy, but like it's different. It's good.
I think there's a little bit of Scrubs that
It's
is
different,
on the
it's good.
line. It's different. It's good. On the line of cheesy sitcoms versus high quality sitcoms.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
always kind of bounces on that line. And that's kind of why I like it, because I'm certainly a fan of old ones like Get Smart,
Yeah.
WKRP in Cincinnati, that kind of stuff. So there's a cheesiness a little bit there, but I think it works. I mean, I think that these
Yeah.
characters, that's part of who they are. Dell and I have talked a lot about several ensemble shows over the first season and a half of the show. And this is another one that we talk about. They were established right off. Several of these characters immediately. And I love when shows are able to do that and just jump you right into the story.
And I love that you understand that's what makes me so mad about Scrubs, because they created such a good show with such good characters and they ended it in such a good way. And then they were like, actually, we're going to make another season that sucks
that was
dog
a
shit. And it's just
terrible idea.
so bad. And I heard you say the other characters that he guides them after he becomes a doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
And the way they tried to pretend it was still the same show, because it was still called Scrubs, but it was like Scrubs, and then they added the new class or something like that, and JD stayed on, and it's like the mentor, and so they tried to make it feel like the show is just kind of transitioning, and it was like clearly the cleverness was gone. This was a totally different show. Like I think I watched like 4 episodes of the new one, and I was like, I'm done. Like I do not care about any of this.
I think that they were trying to. Have you ever seen Skins, the British show? I think that they were trying to do what they did with Skins, how how every season they have a new generation. So like first, second seasons, Gen 1, Gen 2. I think that they were trying to build on top of it, like a Skins kind of thing. But the thing is, everyone already knows Scrubs as this one thing of all these characters. You can't just bring in all these people.
Yeah, like 5, 6 seasons. So it was not like they were changing it out every year. It wasn't anthological. So it made no sense that like all of a sudden 7 years later, I'm going to get a whole new cast of characters. That's
in the way
weird.
I personally don't like the fact that Elliot and JD
Or
got
9
together at the
seasons,
end. Oh,
yeah, I was actually a little disappointed.
I thought
No.
the show's from the 90s. It's old.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it's
it-
okay.
Give it the
Go
people.
for it.
it angers me that they're together at the end because I feel like whenever a good TV show, especially like that has a bunch of characters like that, like they do it with Friends and they did it somewhat in The Office, but I don't really think as much in The Office. But they see like two characters that are single, they have to have some type of relationship together. But I just think that it would just have been better personally if they just didn't end up together because I just don't think that they are as good for each other. I don't know.
Well, in The Office, especially the British version, like the show takes the place around their will they, won't they romance, and The
Yeah.
Office is just the setting for that up and through season 3. But once like they started trying to get like Dwight and Angela together or Andy and Angela together, then I was like, oh man, okay, now y'all need a new couple, so they're just making them up. And yeah, I honestly I agree with you. I was a little disappointed because it's like, look, Turk and obviously got with Carla right off the bat. It worked out. They stayed together. It made a lot of sense. And you don't. It was weird that both characters or all 4 characters got what they wanted.
Yeah.
And it would have been better if one worked and one didn't.
Still, another thing that we've talked about before is this idea of breaking the fourth wall with characters. There's been several TV shows that have tried that. Most of them usually fail. I'm sorry that I'm strobe lighting for all those people that are watching at home. But talk a little bit about those kind of shows, how that has evolved over the years, and does that work or does that not work with this show?
I think for this show it does, and what's weird is it didn't pioneer it. Certainly, the one that really pioneered it was the British Office, but that was a show that was specifically a documentary, or was to appear as a documentary. They had a documentary crew there. You'd see a camera or a boom drop in every once in a while into the shot, and then they did it with Parks and Rec, but then with Parks and Rec they just made it not a documentary but kept that style.
I want to go back even further than
this
that.
one did it.
Talk about Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and talk about those kind of shows.
Yeah.
That's the.
Well,
are you familiar with that show, Safi? Have you ever heard that Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
No, I do not know what that is.
It's the knockoff of the TV show Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was a knockoff of the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
Oh.
So another
but he
network
talks to
went,
the camera
hey,
a lot. He interacts like that, a little bit like Zach Morris does on Saved by the Bell as well, where there's a communicating with the audience and what you're seeing, and kind of giving that wink to the audience.
Yeah, I think with Scrubs, and I do like the fact that usually whenever you see a TV show break the fourth wall, it's usually in a documentary kind of style, like with Parks and Rec and like with The Office and everything. But with this, you are aware that you're watching these people do their thing, so it kind of feels like you're watching a documentary because it feels like such a real thing that's happening. And then with the fact that it only really breaks when Zach Braff speaks to you, so it's kind of like it's all taking place from his perspective, but you're also watching everybody, so there's like a lot of like different perspectives that you can watch it from.
Like visually it's an objective show, but audibly it's a subjective show. Like you're definitely seeing Zach Braff's point or hearing his point of view, but then you're definitely seeing things that he couldn't possibly have witnessed or been there for or wouldn't have known about either.
I do love whenever that happens in Scrubs and they point out the fact that they are breaking the fourth wall, like it's a subtle nudge to the audience, which I think is really cool.
I love that this first episode also set the trend of doing the cutaways. They do the race in this episode, and that just always makes me chuckle just every time they go to that kind of cutaway. I'm going to call it Family Guy, and I know it's been done obviously more places and before that, but that's just to me just a little one-off. The race itself was hilarious because you think about this man trying to make it in this world, and he's got this female that he's competing with, and he's already feeling terrible about himself, but he feels like, oh, well, I got to prove this to her, not realizing how stupid he seems and how stupid it comes off whenever he's doing it. Chef's kiss.
Nice.
Del, was there any parts of the show, of this pilot episode, that you did not enjoy?
No, really, I think they did a good job. One of my favorite parts is how Dr. Cox is a total ass and Kelso is presented as the nice guy. And it isn't until the end that you realize that Kelso really is the worst, just the worst. And Dr. Cox is just realistic. He's a jerk, but he's practical. He's pragmatic. And he's not there to hold anybody's hand or be anybody's friend, but he is more like he's that tough father figure.
Yeah.
Is not that loving father figure, and Kelso's just a bastard. And
I
I
was
think
gonna
when they
I
revealed that, I was like, oh, I love that. That was so great. And then, of course, when you meet the janitor for the first time,
Mhm,
I was like, whoever this is, like, I want more of him. Like, 'cause
mhm.
I like the. How do you know it's a penny? Did you put this in there? Did you put a
That's
penny in
so
there? Why
funny.
would you say a penny? Like, it was.
Yes.
I felt so bad for him because I thought, oh, it's going to focus on all the doctors and then, but then no, they went ahead and were like, also, let's go ahead and make sure the janitor and the lawyer are in there too.
And
So you
they're
really
two
did
of
get to
the
see it.
funniest characters
Yeah.
in that entire. They're like the best ones. And I do like how inside Scrubs it starts with Dr. Cox kind of being like the tough guy, but he kind of has like there's something else like underneath that, and then with Kelso being like the dick. And I like how throughout the show slowly Dr. Cox becomes more and more personable, and more and more like a person that is you can tell he means good.
Yeah.
But then there's the episode with Kelso when he's dealing with all these patients and like it was a very emotional episode, and it shows him the second he steps out of the hospital he completely changes and he acts like nothing happened, so you really get to see that like none of this actually affects him.
Yep. And that's
Because
one of
So
the
he's
reasons the
yeah.
show's just fantastic because
Yeah.
they give that extra level to these characters, and I just love
One
it.
of my favorite lines Kelso over delivers is, I can't remember who he's talking to, but he's and maybe he's not Braff, but he goes, somebody says, I don't like you, or I don't, why you're such a jerk or something like that. And he goes, let me explain something to you. I have a wife that I go home to who loves me and makes me dinner every night. I have a small but very selective group of friends who I like doing things with. I couldn't give a good goddamn what you think about me. And it just was so perfect that Kelso, that's like he comes to the hospital, he does his job, and he leaves, and his life is outside the hospital. Where Cox, you can tell that there are times that he beats himself up. He tries not to get upset, but he really cares. And when he took over at the hospital, I was like, finally, that move felt earned,
Mhm.
and I really like that.
Steffi, did you have a favorite character from this first episode? Is there somebody that not necessarily that's like you, but that you understand a little bit more than the rest of them, or appreciate?
Yes, she did, and it was the janitor.
It's the janitor.
I believe I answered your question.
Because he feels like he reminds me of Dad, so I kind of have a soft spot for him. I
That makes
do.
sense.
I love the janitor, but I don't know. I feel like the first episode is such a good introduction, and of course you're gonna relate to JD because everyone's had a first day of something where you have to like go through it and actually like experience it to know what's gonna happen for the future. But I don't know. I'm probably the janitor, honestly. He's always been my favorite character. Janitor and the lawyer. They're the best parts of the show.
When you
They're
find out
just
the
so
lawyer is in a barbershop quartet, when that's
that is
revealed, it's
just
one of my
so
favorite
perfect.
because it's just like little things like that. When I like when they take things that people can do in real life, and they're like, let's just put that in the show. Like in Parks and Rec, they needed Ron Swanson to play an instrument, and they said, look, we'll just bring in a guitar and we'll fake it for a part. And he's like, or I could bring in the saxophone and just play the saxophone for you. And they're like, you can play sax? And he's like, yeah, I play jazz sax. And they're like, oh, would you like to just play jazz sax for this one part? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, well, hold on. If you can do that, what if we wrote you a whole character that you get to do as the jazz sax? So Duke Silver only came out because he happened to be able to do that,
Yeah.
and he happens to be, Ted happens to be in a barbershop quartet. And so they put that in the show a few times. And I love when shows find out that people can do things like,
Yeah.
again, like with Ron, like turns out he was a carpenter. They didn't know that when they hired him, but then that got written into the show. And every time you see that Ron Swanson's shop, that really is not Ron Swanson. That really is oh my gosh, she's Ron Swanson to me. And Nick Swanson.
Nick
Offerman. I just saw
between the three of us, we got there.
Yes, yeah. But that's his workshop. And what's funny is he does play a little bit more guitar as he's gotten older too.
Yeah.
So I went and saw him perform, and he was just he just crushed it. He killed it. He read poetry. He sings songs about his wife's breasts. Because famously he's married to the girl from
Megan Mullally.
Will and Grace, Mel and Mullally. And
Love
they
her
are
so much.
so crazy, like in love. They talk about each other all the time in interviews and stuff like that. And so he writes her these songs about her body parts, and then he'll go out and perform them in front of like hundreds and thousands of people of like her nipples or her boobs or her armpits. And it's so weird and creepy. But he's like, I don't know what to tell you. I write songs about what I like, and I like my wife's boobs, But
They're
then he'll
just so
read
perfect
poetry, and
together.
he does stand up, and then he'll play a little bit of jazz, and it's just
This episode's now just
crazy.
about Nick
Offerman.
It's just about him now.
Sorry.
How much I
But-
love Will and Grace. Can we talk about Will and Grace for a second?
Let's do it. Go for
if
it.
you can tie it to if you can tie it to Scrubs, yes. Find a way to work it there.
Scrubs, Hospital,
Mhm.
Blood,
Mhm.
True Blood.
True Blood, Vampires are gay people, Will and Grace.
Yeah.
Got it. Nah.
The janitor is my favorite character because the one time that they cut to this time that he was in The Fugitive, when he plays the cop in The Fugitive.
Yes.
Oh, that is so excellent. I didn't believe it when I'm watching the clip. I'm like, no, this can't be real. And sure enough, yep, he was the cop in that. I love it. Staffy, we play a little thing on this show where we do Netflix recommends. So just like when you're watching something on Netflix, it'll tell you at the bottom, if you like this show, why don't you watch this show? So you can do it if you like this show, but if you don't like this show as well, you can tell us a little bit of something different. Since this section is new to you, I'll start with Del. Don't give me something that we've already done, Del. Tell me another show that you might enjoy if you watch Scrubs.
Not Grey's Anatomy. If you enjoy the type of comedy that comes along with a hospital setting, because this is not the same type of show at all. If you just like hospital shows in general and you're like, I don't care what type it is, then maybe. But if you want something clever and fun and enjoyable, not Grey's Anatomy, and well written, not Grey's Anatomy. Other than that, I think this fits among the workplace comedies of the time. I mean, this certainly is, in there with, The Office and Parks and Rec. And I know we go to this all the time, but we've been doing shows recently that all kind of happened around the same time. Mm-hmm. And so it really does fit into that workplace ensemble comedy group, where characters are kind of not either they're aware they're in a show or it cuts to a talking head. Because Modern Family does the same thing. They're not in a documentary, but yet we'll still cut to that talking head shot. It looks like there's a guy peeking out from behind Matt right now trying to talk. I like that. But you're getting what everybody's thinking too, and it's being tied to what you're seeing on screen. So you kind of have that juxtaposition as well.
Have you given us a show yet?
Yeah, I think I said like any of the workplace comedies from around this time. So like anything except My Name is Earl, only because My Name is Earl was not a workplace comedy.
Yeah.
But anything else that aired on NBC would probably count, I think.
Okay, so Del gives us his boring answer. Safi, give us something.
Whenever I think Scrubs, I think good show about multiple people, like an entourage kind of thing, where you go through their entire life and you follow like different people. Mm-hmm. Wow, you see nothing's coming in my brain right now except for Skins, which I know is completely the total opposite of Scrubs.
That's fine.
But I like the show Suits. Wow, that's weird, Safi.
That's a great.
Safi.
That's my.
I'm terrified now. I don't know what just happened.
Who is that?
So I'm going to give you two, and then maybe you can cue off these two. How about that? Okay. So
wait, but I was going to say.
Oh, please. No,
also. Good show about people in a group and you learn all about their lives individually. Mm-hmm. Please Like Me. It's an Australian show.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with that. Nice. Okay.
Please Like Me is really good. It has the main guy who has like different friends, and it kind of and you learn a lot about each individual person as it goes on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how Zach Braff, he narrates everything, and he understands everything. It kind of feels like that. There's no narration or anything. It's just a complete TV show, but I recommend that very, very much. It's very, very good. I actually auditioned for one of the other shows that that creator made, and I did not get the part.
Oh, what a sad story. But I like that
Yeah.
answer. That was a good answer. I'm going to
Thank
give you two. Del, I'm going to ask you about this first one, why we have not talked more about it and why we have not done
All
an
right.
episode for Better Off Ted. These two
Which is
shows
still one of my favorite shows of all time.
pair so perfectly together. I love all the characters of Better Off Ted. There's such
Yeah.
a uniqueness to that. But I'm going to give you another
How
one.
is that not being brought back as well?
I don't know. It's
Like
crazy.
with all the things
Two
everybody else
seasons.
is bringing back. That's it. And that's I don't understand. That's a show that they could bring back immediately and people would I think like it even more now.
This may not off the top seem like it fits, but I think if you think about it for a minute, it will. It's a show that Stephen Bochco did called Cop Rock. And Cop Rock,
I watched the pilot for that the other night.
It's cops, but then they sing and then they dance and they do random stuff, and it's all cutaways almost.
It
but
was
serious.
terrible.
So bad.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it was like they'll be like, okay, Savvy, let me try to explain to you. So the songs will be like, like I'm living in a world where things are going wrong, and the songs are from the 80s, like this, right?
Yep.
But then it's like they'll shoot somebody and they'll be like, take that bastard down, all him in, and it's like, am I watching The Shield or am I watching a musical? Because the show can't. It's not fun. It's a terribly written show. It's it's like Hill Street Blues. It's The Shield, but yet they also try to put songs in it.
Does it feel very
they
forced?
Yes, there's nothing about it that makes any sense.
And
Like I was watching thinking it was going to be funny, and no, it doesn't work on any level. And I just kept turning around to Kat being like, are you watching this with me? Because what is going on?
I find it hard to watch cop shows and then be like, okay, yeah, I'm into this. The only funny cop show, and I'm going to stand by this, is Reno 911, which is also one of the greatest shows ever created. Reno 911 is the greatest. I don't like other cop stuff. I just don't, because I feel like Reno 911 is so self-aware of what it's doing, but stuff like that, it just feels such like a force. Like, what's that one, the cartoon about the cops? And it was on Netflix for a while. It has the dog.
Nope, you got me.
Exactly.
I can't think of it.
It's just bad.
Super Troopers, the movies. That was the only other one about cops that I can think of. I enjoy that. You know what? And Police Squad. That's a good. It's only 6 episodes long. It was done in the 80s. If you've never seen it, Police Academy. But I'm telling you,
Police
Squad is
not
better.
The last 17.
Yeah.
Police Squad is what there's some good cops.
Police Squad is what they ended up making into Naked Gun 2, Naked Gun 3. So those Naked Gun movies are all based off the same jokes from the 6 episodes in the TV show. Like you'll even see the exact same joke just reused in the movie. And I believe the movie title even says Police Squad from the file. It says Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad. And there are some scenes lifted directly from the show and just plopped down with a better budget in the movie. That if you've never seen Police Squad, give yourself a shot. Watch that one. That one's great.
You said Squad. That reminded me of one of my favorite movies, Monster Squad. We were talking about Halloween movies before the podcast started. Let's go back to that.
Let's do it.
Monster Squad is also on that list of great Halloween movies. It is so good, and it's just classic, and everything about it makes me happy. I watched it when I was really little, and I have not rewatched it since, and I'm not going to, because I want to keep those happy memories from there with it,
That's smart. That's how I roll on some things as well. Good call.
Anyways, Monster Squad's a great Halloween movie.
That movie falls into that list up there with, like, for some reason, within like a 1-year period, I saw like Little Monsters, Monster Squad, The Boy Who Could Fly. It was sort of like weird. It was like all these weird, like kids 80s movies, The Quest. And it was always one weird kid with some who can't make friends, or I guess the Monster Squad is a group of kids. And they always they're struggling through ones, like, they're trying to make one friend. One new girl moves into town, but they were like, that movie was made like so many times over and over again in the 80s. And, The Boy Could Fly. Boy, we just watched that one again recently too. I showed that to Karis, and she was like, "He's not flying." I'm like, "Would you give it to wait till the end? Would you wait?"
I've noticed that same like trope inside 80s movies where it's like the weirdo kid and then he ends up being the hero at the end because he has to solve like a big old like quest to save the world, or it's like all
Yeah.
the Goosebump movies, like it has that feel to it. But Monster Squad's just different, and it doesn't apply
No,
to
that's
that trope.
that's almost like a Goonies type thing.
I was just about to say, I was gonna
It reminds
say
me of that.
Goonies, but I was also gonna say Stand By Me.
Oh,
Good,
very nice.
good
call.
Scrubs episode, everyone.
Good call. So we always make sure that people know, and we can all do this on the count of 3. Yes or no answer. Would you
Ooh.
recommend the pilot episode for Scrubs? My first day in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, probably. I
Yes.
could see Emily doing that. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Can I say maybe?
You're fired. But since
Oh,
you're still here, you
I
might as well
leave.
tell the people. Thank you for coming on Pilot Pass. Tell the people where they can find Safi online.
My for everything is at Saffron Herndon. I'm really funny and talented, and if you want to follow me, you can.
And
I
Saffron
agree
is
with
with
that.
two
But if
Fs.
you're an old man, refrain from the DMs. That's happened a few times, and I do not appreciate it.
But you get some good jokes out of it, though.
And a lot of trauma. I don't like it, but also it's funny.
Dell, do you have old men messaging you?
No, but Saffron,
Other than my dad.
Safi, I'll quit sending you DMs.
Dell, where can they find Pilot Pass on the World Wide Web?
They can always go to pilotpasspod.com, and that has links to all of our social sites and the store, which we should be hopefully getting up and running soon. And I also just don't see what's so offensive about my DMs. It's usually just like a picture of a bird, and it'll have the time.
These are the reasons that we
11:46
can't have
p.m.
a TikTok account, Dell. These are the reasons.
Oh no!
That,
if I
and
saw
we're
you guys
also
on a
over the age
TikTok,
of
I would
20.
report your account. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I want to save my generation. I do.
Good luck with that. And thank you for coming on Pilot Pass. Again, my name is Matthew. That's Dell. Safi's over there. Follow her online. She is hilarious. Are you doing anything recently? Anytime soon?
Not right now, but in the future, yes.
Excellent.
Keep updated, everyone.
Please do. Keep updated. And maybe once we get to leave the house, we can all get together for a snack or something of the sort.
Yes. My dad says that he misses you guys.
Oh, we miss him.
We
too.
miss your dad too.
You don't have to lie. He's not here.
It's being recorded, so I got
you.
That's true.
Safi. He can go back and listen to it.
Dad. Okay.
My name's Saffron. I'm getting into heroin.
Fake
Who told you
Saffron.
that?
Is
That's
there?
supposed to stay between us.
That's for your dad later when he listens.
Dell, any last words for the people before we go?
Ooh, that's a good question. I do have a lot to say. All I have to say
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
No, watch Monster Squad. That's all I have to say. This is my claim to fame, guys. Goodbye.
Bye,
Adios.
Safi.
Do I leave?
Yes,
can
you
walk
have
out
to
if you
leave
want
your house. You
I have to go?
Yeah, you have to
Oh.
get up and leave your room. Not only your room, but you have to leave your house.
Go down
What if
the
I just
street.
like
slide out of frame.
And she's gone.